Hello and welcome to the Filmmaking Sucks podcast,
where we tell you about all the mistakes you can make when producing your first feature film and how to avoid them.
I'm your host, Manny.
And I'm Lindsay.
And she's having a silly day today.
I am. I'm sorry.
You're having a silly day.
I am. I'm so overcome with delicious pumpkin spiceness. It's so good. I'm going to have some more.
More pumpkin spice?
More pumpkin spice.
More pumpkin coffee?
Here, viewers, you can experience it too.
That's terrible.
It's good.
It's a horrible sound.
Foley. I'm creating Foley.
No.
Free Foley.
No. All right, so we missed an episode last week.
We did.
That happens. We seem to get 2 or 3 episodes in and then crap out. It seems like.
Sorry, guys.
It seems to be our.
It's a thing.
Our thing, yeah. 2 to 3 episodes and then we miss one.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's what happens.
I can be consistent for 3 weeks, and that's it.
That's about it. That's about it.
That's it.
So what do we got coming up? We actually have an event, a small event, a little event.
Yeah, actually, we have the conclusion of our 9-day film race.
10-day.
10-day.
10-day film race. They are.
I feel like this keeps changing.
No, it's 10-day.
Okay.
It was 10. It was 10.
Okay.
But yeah, we did that 10-day film race almost 2 months ago now. Well, no, it was a month ago, a little over a month
and
ago.
a half.
It was July.
July
14th is when we shot it.
Okay.
So, yes, it's a month and a half ago. It's
go.
almost 2 months. Almost 2 months now.
Almost 2 months.
Since we shot that. We don't know who won.
Nope. It'll be exciting.
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
We better win.
No pressure.
No pressure. So next week, Wednesday, that is the Wednesday the 13th, they'll be screening the 2 shorts that were part of it as the other 2 teams dropped out.
Losers.
So, yeah.
What?
The other 2 teams dropped out
That was not nice. I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't nice. So the other 2 teams dropped out of the competition, so it's actually only 2 teams left.
Right.
And yes, Wednesday, August 13th at Nears, if you're in the New York and Queens, specifically Woodhaven area, at Nears Tavern, they'll be screening the 2 shorts and announcing the winner, I assume, I hope.
Yeah, better cross your fingers for us.
Yep. At 7:30, I believe it begins. 7:30 to 9:30 is the.
Begins at 7.
Yes, no, I think he said it. Well, yeah, no, I think he said 7:15 this time.
Oh, 7:15.
7:15 this time. Yes,
Oh.
he's getting specific. So that'll be the screening of that Wednesday, August 13th at Nears Tavern in Woodhaven, Queens. So if we actually have any listeners who are in the area, come on out.
Christopher, we're talking to you.
Yeah. So, yes, we'll be there for the screening of our first ever drama.
And most likely we'll be putting it up for you guys to check out.
Yeah, we'll put it up. We'll put it up soon enough. We entered into 1 or 2 other festivals as well, so hopefully we'll get into something there. But yeah, we'll put it up. Our first drama. It was interesting.
Female-centric drama.
Yep. So that'll be screening next Wednesday. On top of that, something kind of cool happens every year is the Cinna Summit.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Cinna Summit is an online 2-day conference of sorts. It's not really a conference, but it's an online conference.
It's an online conference, if that can be a thing.
Yeah. Cinna Summit is basically what they do is every year for 2 days, I think it's 8 hours each day. So this year it's the August 12th and 13th. They have September. Yes, I'm saying August. So September 13th is the screening. You didn't catch me last time. I said it 3 times already. Didn't catch that either. I just can't believe it's already September.
Of course it is, because it's pumpkin spice time.
Okay, so you should have caught that sooner.
I took a little bit for the coffee to kick in.
Okay, so yeah, so our screening is September 13th. Wednesday, September 13th at Nears Tavern. And September 12th and 13th is Cinna Summit 7. It is free.
Free?
It is totally free.
Free? Free?
Yes, it is totally free to attend, in quotes. What this is It's a series of lectures and some, I guess, hour-long sort of master classes.
Okay.
Of sorts. I guess master class is something that most filmmakers should know what they are at this point, a master class. They have a bunch of directors from around the world, each do hour to 2 hour session.
Sort of like a TED Talk.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where they explain different things.
Oh, he's going mobile, folks.
Yeah, I'm going mobile. This year... okay. I'm going to try and I'm just going to check out the website. So CineSummit.com, CineSummit.com. All right. Go to that website. You can do it now while you're listening to us if you want. That's interesting. It's good enough. I'm just going to basically read what it says here. We've gathered the best directors in the industry for you to learn from. CineSummit is your ultimate shortcut to becoming a world-class director.
Okay, let's start with the big thing at the top of the page.
Oh yes. Can you afford to wait 10 years before mastering the art of filmmaking?
That's a big promise.
That's a big promise. You're never going to master the art of filmmaking. You're never going to master it. You will never be a master. There's I'm going to say maybe 4 directors
They're
in history.
Born that way.
Yeah, there's maybe a handful of directors in history who you could say mastered the art of filmmaking. You know, Stanley Kubrick.
And he would never even say that himself.
He wouldn't say that. No. Still, Steven Spielberg. You could say he wouldn't say that either.
No.
What's that Western director that Murph loves? John something. I can't think of his name.
Me either.
Yeah, he did Westerns in the 50s and 60s, and maybe even before that. You know, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
You could say he mastered, but they wouldn't say it. That's the thing. These directors would never say that they mastered it because even, 50-year long career, and they still feel that they're learning.
Dude, we're at this over 10 years.
Yeah, we're over 10 years.
Nowhere
in this.
near
We're
a master.
nowhere near mastering. CineSummit is your ultimate shortcut.
I could be
to
like
becoming,
a master apprentice.
CineSummit is your ultimate shortcut to becoming a world-class director. Get all the secrets from 8 of the best directors in the world right at your fingertips from the comfort of your own home. It looks like there are 8 sessions. They're generally between 60 minutes to 2 hours. Some of them, occasionally they've gone to 3 hours. 8 sessions from multiple different directors or producers. I mean, they're all directors. They've all directed something, but some of them specialize in being producers. Some of them are cinematographers,
Right.
They call them directors because they are directors as well.
Right.
But they all
director
have...
is king. Gotcha.
Yeah. Some of the sessions include real-world advice on how to be discovered, from amateur to pro, the Real World Film School, one that I'm interested, that most of our listeners will be interested in, your first feature film, The Checklist, which is done by producer Martin Rosette. Small crew, no problem. How to get the most of even the most skeleton crew for big results. Hiring made simple. Should you work with a casting director? Things like that. So basically a checklist on things you should know for making your first film.
Very cool.
Add impact to your film with simple camera choices. Another one is how to get the job and turn your client into your biggest fan. Create irresistible treatments and a stress-free set. Creativity blueprint, how to make your film stand out from the crowd. The step-by-step process to unlock your creativity. So the next-gen filmmaker, how to create a Hollywood-looking film on a shoestring budget.
Very cool. Sounds like some really interesting talks there.
Yeah. So, and again, it's free. So go to CineSummit.com. We're not being paid for this, but I checked this. I've watched this the last 3 or 4 years. I've attended. I guess.
You were a previous happy attendee?
Yes. And
satisfied
these
attendee?
things they're basically streamed live. So for the course, on day 1, they'll have a bunch available. Some of them are available at a certain time. And then day 2, they'll put the others up. But what happens is they're technically only available for that 2 days. Now, every single year, you'll get when you do it. You're going to be incapable of watching them all. I'm sure. To sit here for 16 hours and watch everything in 2 days is sometimes a little much for most people. You just don't have the time to do that. But I'll let you in on a little secret of it, I guess. But anybody who's done this before knows. After the day or two after it, they're going to say, well, due to popular demand,
Okay.
we're going to make them available for 2 more days, our most popular sessions. They'll out of the 8, they'll take 4 or 5 of them and make them available like a week later for another 2 days.
Oh, very
She'll have another chance to watch most of them. Okay, and they do that every year. Now, again, they're only available for the time that the Cinna Summit is. Yes, that the summit is happening.
Isn't it?
For $197, you can buy them, and you can have lifetime access to download the videos as well as the presentations that went with them. And there's 8 video presentations and 8 audio sessions.
Different.
Okay. I think it's the same ones.
Oh, that's cool. Is that still for free?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. But no.
No, that's paid.
No. Yes.
I
When
see it
you
now.
pay for it, you can get the 8 video sessions and you can get them as audio sessions as well.
Oh, that's cool.
As well as the slide sets and
Got it. So you can watch the video, you can go through the slides on your own, and you can listen to it on your...
Yes, for $197. Now, anybody who knows these master classes know they do get expensive. So it's pretty much par for the course. If you pay for it in advance, though, you pay for it before the summit happens, you can get all of them for $97. Now, I haven't paid for one yet. Okay, some people may find it to be very helpful to have them. You know, I'm not saying it's a waste of money.
I'm sort of considering it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able... I mean, I work during the week. So.
Yeah. So yeah, if you think it's worthwhile, you definitely learn a lot from it. But again, that's the thing. You buy it in advance. It's the early bird is $97. Once you've seen them and you decide, hey, this is valuable, I need this. Guess what? Now you're going to pay $200 for it because you've already seen it. You know what you're getting, and obviously now you want it because you wouldn't buy it if you didn't want it.
Right.
So the price goes up the day of.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So you're gonna if you want it now, I think that I guess they're kind of worth it, but I don't feel it's worth to pay for it because
you can watch it live.
Because I can watch it live, exactly. So they're essentially short master classes. Most of the actual master classes that they like on the master class websites, they're like 4 to 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
They're long.
Yeah, they're long, but you'll be paying $600 for why can't I think of his name now?
Werner
Herzog. Yeah, to have Werner Herzog talk to you for 8 hours about how to be a director. Yeah. Steve Martin to teach you how to be a comedian, talk about being a comedian for 6 hours. So these are the sorts of things that.
I mean, obviously, if you're listening to us, then, you like to listen and get information and to learn, and that's really important. And these master classes are really great.
Yeah. So these are not master classes, though.
No.
They're just the same concept, just shorter.
Yeah, just shorter.
I would say at the very least sign up for it.
Yeah.
And I know that most people, you work during the day. Most people work during the day. So I would say sign up for it when you get home from work.
Right.
Throw it on when you're home and just let it play and listen to it and check it out.
While you do your thing, while you're cooking dinner, while you're doing your workout, while you're whatever you do.
Yeah, just let it play and listen to it.
Let Netflix have a night off.
Yeah, and learn some stuff from experienced professionals. I mean, it would be kind of shitty to say it. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I wouldn't say that these are masters. They're professionals. These guys, I'm sure that most of them have 20, 30 years in, and they got a lot of experience. So, a lot more experience than we have, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to us, it's definitely beneficial to listen to them.
Yeah, and it's free, so
Yes.
why not?
And it's free, exactly. So sign up for the Cinna Summit and watch along with me because I'll be watching.
Oh my God, you could live tweet it.
I don't think I will be.
Well, there went that.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's
You
next.
can live tweet it. We just won't be involved.
Yeah. What?
They can live tweet it.
Yeah, they can live tweet all they want. If you want to live tweet about it, go for it. So anyway, that's September 12th and 13th. Give it a try. Check it out. CineSummit 7.
Again, we're not being paid for this. So.
No. I just think it's a cool resource.
Yep.
So in the spirit of cool free resources,
Okay.
what do we have? What are we talking about this week?
We're talking about apps and programs.
Yes, apps and programs that are not necessarily free, but affordable.
Free or affordable. We're
Yes.
trying to limit it. So my stuff is going to break the bank, but that's how I roll. People.
Things that will help you get through production. Programs and things that you can most likely afford. You know, a couple of them are a little expensive, but when you know...
But they're lifelong investments. And
Yes.
you will use them, like at least my stuff that I'm aware of, you know, you use them 100 times over.
So let's get into what some of them are.
Okay, so I went back
We'll start with yours. We'll break it down to basics.
Yeah, pre-production, post-production.
Pre-production,
and
production, and post-production.
The 3 Ps. So yeah, pre-production, pretty much you start off with the easiest things, which is screenwriting. There's a number of free programs. A lot of the people that we know use Celtx, which is CELTX.
Yep.
There's a free version and a paid version. And similar to Celtx is Fade In or Fade In Free. That's personally what I have on my phone. I think it's super great. I have an hour-long commute on the train each way into work, and it's really handy to be able to type up a script in proper format on my phone. So I
Works
actually
on your tablet too.
Works on your tablets, works on your phones, it even works on your computer. You can sync everything, so the script that you're working on your phone, it will actually sync to the one that you pull up on your computer.
Yes, when you get home from work at night, if you have some more ideas, you can pop it onto your computer and work on it there, and you don't have to keep...
Same file, which
I
is super
personally
great.
don't like writing on the phone just because it's so small and it's so... I feel limited.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel, even though
It definitely takes some getting used to, but at the same time, it's like, you know, when you already have your phone, you're listening to your podcast, you're listening to music, you already have it out, you know, versus then having to fight with a notebook on your lap and there's limited space.
I know Mario,
and I'm on the J train and it's crowded as fuck.
I know Mario writes his scripts on Celtx.
Yeah, Celtx.
I know Murph does too. You know,
Now the only thing to be aware of is that when you export into a PDF, you're going to have the little for free by
watermark.
Celtx. You're going to have a watermark. So just an FYI, sometimes, you know, it's hard. When you're making your first couple of scripts, people understand that. When you get to different levels, it's kind of hard
If you're submitting your scripts to a film festival or something, you do not want that on there.
No.
You don't want any, you know, this is between you and your friends. You're making your first movie. They
Whatever.
don't care.
No.
The best that...
If you're hiring professional actors, but, you know, at the same time, go get yourself, download Adobe Pro for free. You can edit, you know, if you go to the edit menu and you go to object, you can just click right on that watermark and delete it. Shh, I didn't say that.
Yeah, so.
But that's, I mean, if you really care.
My personal preferred program is Movie Magic Screenwriter.
Okay.
Now, I'm pretty sure we don't have iPhones, but I'm pretty sure that I'm almost positive there is an Apple version now. I mean, it just came out in the last month or two.
Yeah.
You know, I prefer Movie Magic Screenwriter.
I do too. It's much cleaner. I think it's just I like it better when I have the choice. But really, for the freedom,
it's the one we've been using for almost 10 years now. So I'm accustomed to it. Final Draft is not different from it. It's not very different.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple of commands that are different, but
they're sister.
They all do
programs.
the same thing. Every 90% of screenwriting programs out there all do the same exact thing. Okay, we just prefer Movie Magic. It's not that it's better than any others. It's just our preferred. It's all preference. Movie Magic usually runs about $160 to $200 depending where you're buying it from. Okay, now that's Movie Magic Screenwriter. They have specials a lot of the time, which brings it to about $120. As of recording right now, they are having a Labor Day sale. Unfortunately, this episode
It's a bit
will
late.
be up after it, but we did post it on the page. It was on our Facebook page, so hopefully you guys caught that already.
And if you're not, follow that because we share stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And so Screenwriter was having a sale where you get it for, I think, what is it, $97 or $100, which is honestly the cheapest we've seen it because we bought it when it was on sale. We got it for $120.
Yeah, well, we got it way back in the day when I had a student ID. And if you have a student ID, just go crazy with software before you graduate.
Yes. If you have a student ID, or even if you're old enough to have kids that are in school and they have a student
There you
ID,
go.
use their student ID.
Yes.
And a lot of these programs have student versions, which are the full versions, but they're called academic because it's, you're a student. They're assuming you're paying for school and all this other stuff. So you give them your school ID.
Oh, they love getting students because, pretty much what you learn on is what you are going to use for most of your life.
Yes.
And most of these software companies are aware of that. So they do a lot of really good deals for students. Which kind of brings me to the next bunch, which is my EP Entertainment Partners Movie Magic Budget and Scheduling Programs. These
You don't get this on the Movie Magic website.
No.
It's made by them.
Entertainment
but
Partners.
Yes, it's not on them. Now, the Movie Magic Screenwriter you get from Wright Brothers. Wright as in WRITE. They do the screenwriter, but they don't sell.
No, they're not connected. No.
Yeah.
They're two separate companies. But again, Entertainment Partners. How I came across this company was actually in school. Like I said, these software companies are really good about doing student outreach. So they actually sent one of their creators to my school for three or four sessions, and they walked us through the programs, both the budgeting and the scheduling. And then we were able to get them at a very discounted price. Usually this runs about $700.
No, it's $495.
$495
$495 is the regular.
for both.
No, each.
Each.
They're two separate programs, budgeting and scheduling.
Scheduling.
Two totally different.
EP
$495 each.
Movie Magic Budgeting and EP Movie Magic Scheduling. Budgeting, I'm not as sold on that yet. I have yet to actually have a project that requires that level of detail. Scheduling, I am obsessed with.
Yeah.
I love EP scheduling. There are some alternatives to this. Gorilla makes one. Gorilla like the animal. They have budgeting and they have a scheduling program separate. They also have like a five different programs that they do with the Gorilla package. They're $250 each program. But and then there's also a service that I'm going to be checking out, I think, for our next big project.
$250.
$250. The other option is ShotLister, which I'm going to be checking out, which is an app, which is pretty new. It's a $14 purchase for the app. That's it.
Yeah.
And all the upgrades are included for life.
Okay.
And it does it says it does all of the scheduling, budgeting. I think it has some screenwriting elements to it. It seems like an all-in kind of deal. I have yet to actually check it out. I think I'm going to for our next big project.
Movie Magic also has Dramatica Pro.
Yes.
Dramatica, which will help you with your story structure and your character breakdowns, the things that are not going to go into the script, but you use as your guidelines
Screenwriter.
to write your screenwriting. Yes, to use with Screenwriter. So that goes with Wright Brothers. Wright Brothers has Dramatica and Screenwriter, and I haven't used Dramatica, because it's just not how I write. But if you're writing something like, let's say you're writing a TV series, okay? Most TV series, you have a team of writers. For a TV show, you're going to have a team of 5 or 6 people who are going to write it. And you only have, each character has one backstory, okay? Dramatica Pro is where you can write out these backstories. Number one, first thing, you can write out these backstories, and everybody then has the same exact description because you're all sharing this program. You're all sharing this program, and you can share and you can edit everything because you don't write your backstory that doesn't happen on screen in the script. Right. It also helps you with your structure. When you start getting heavily into real screenwriting, the structure becomes extremely important, especially if you're doing something like a TV series. TV series, you have to have certain breaks for commercial break type things. Even when you watch Netflix shows, they don't have commercial breaks, but it's still structured to that 7 to 12 minute story blocks where they can put in a commercial break.
Right.
There will be a somewhat of a cliffhanger every 7 to 12 minutes.
What was that show? They actually did the fade out and fade in.
I don't know.
I don't remember. We were watching it like a while ago, and we would literally call out like, "Oh,
commercial break." Yeah, a lot of all the shows That's just how it's written, because it keeps, as a TV show, it keeps your attention. It keeps you engaged.
Your brain is already working. We've talked about the hive mind and the
it's a structure that people are accustomed to.
Yeah.
So they keep it that way, even though there are no commercials. They keep the structure the same because it also allows you to stay engaged.
Right.
It keeps you from going too long without something interesting happening.
Right.
Like a movie where you're building a story slowly over the course of 90 minutes or so, and you're building to a crescendo in the end of the film. This is something where you're going to build toward a crescendo every 45 minutes or an hour.
Right.
But you have to push the story toward that point. And it's just like in a regular screenplay, you have beats that you hit. Like we've discussed this before. Within 10 minutes, you have to describe the world that your characters exist in and the problem that they are facing within the first 10 minutes of the film.
The inciting incident.
Yes, within your first 10 minutes of the film. TV shows are the same exact way. You have a certain amount of time to tell a certain something, and if you go on too long, it's going to get boring. It's going to feel too long.
It's going to drag.
Yeah, boring is maybe the wrong word. It's going to drag a little bit.
It's going to drag.
Yeah, and you may lose some of your viewers if you don't hit certain points at a certain within a certain time limit. So Dramatica will help you keep that structure together. It'll also give you it'll tell you the beats you need to hit within a certain time.
It
gives
cool.
It actually can give you your beats. So let's say you're writing a story, you know the beginning, you know the ending.
Yeah.
And at that hour point of a movie where you have to you got to kill someone off or have a big chase sequence.
Right.
That's usually the 60-minute point is the most exciting point of the film.
Right.
How do you get from your 10-minute inciting incident to your 60 minutes there? Right. There are other beats that happen in the middle, and this is something like Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey. It will actually show you the beats of the hero's journey alongside your script in Dramatica.
Wow.
So you know, okay, well, we have to work towards this point next. We have to work towards that point next.
I did not know that. That's really cool.
Yes, and that's why I've never used it, because for me personally, it's already in my head.
Right.
Most of the stuff is I know the beats already, and even when I'm writing a script, I'm basing it on a structure of something that I know already. So I already know where I'm going with a lot of this.
Right.
But sometimes you just get stuck.
Yeah.
And you say, well, we went here, we went here, we went there. I don't know where to go next. We know where it's going to be eventually, but I'm just stuck here. What is the next logical point of the story from this to this to that? And Dramatica will help you outline that.
That's cool.
So it literally helps you create your scriptment.
Right.
You can create a scriptment, a full treatment with Dramatica, so that you're sure to hit every point you need in order to outline your script completely. Then you take it from there.
I like that because it's a way of like double checking where you're at and,
yes.
and helping you literally like, okay, well, this section I'm gonna miss this beat. So what can I move from this section? That's that. I like that.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I freeform write and then I kind of like edit down.
This is a very structured version of freeform writing,
right,
where you're just kind of throwing it all in there, and then you figure out where within a certain story structure. Because if you really want to get technical, there's only 8 types of stories. I mean, we always say we're going to talk about this, but
there are actually 7 types.
7. Okay, there's 7 types of stories in all of history. Every single movie, story,
These are called
book,
basic plots.
Yeah, every single movie, book, whatever will fall into one of these 7 categories. The way you tell the story is what makes the difference.
Right.
But the story structure is 7 types of story structures. This is the theory. Some of them end up getting shoehorned in. Maybe you can create other types, but so what are the 7?
Okay, the first one is called Overcoming the Monster.
Okay.
When the protagonist sets out to defeat an antagonistic force, often evil, which threatens the protagonist or protagonist's homeland. Examples are Beowulf, Dracula, the War of the Worlds, Theta States.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a
Hunger
hero.
Games, Harry Potter, Shrek.
Yes, we have a hero fighting a monster.
Yeah.
Of some type. Gotcha. Next.
Rags to riches. The poor protagonist acquires things such as power, wealth, and a mate before losing it all and gaining it back upon growing as a person.
Trading places. Coming to America.
Brewster's Millions. This is an
Brewster's
example they
Millions.
gave us.
Yeah, that's
Cinderella,
another.
Aladdin.
Yep.
The next one is The Quest. The protagonist and some companions set out to acquire an important object
Lord of the Rings.
or to get to a location facing many obstacles and temptations along the way.
Lord of the Rings.
Perfect example.
Yep.
Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Another really good one.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Bill and Ted.
I liked that.
It's true. Bill and Ted is
true.
like that, you know? Dude, where's my car?
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, where's my car?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, then the next one is Voyage and Return. The protagonist goes to a strange land and after overcoming the threats it poses to him or her, returns with experience. Chronicles of Narnia, Apollo 13, Labyrinth, Finding Nemo, Gulliver's Travels, The Wizard of Oz.
Story, Wizard of Oz.
Next one is comedy. Light and humorous character with a happy or cheerful ending. A dramatic work in which the central motif is the triumph over adverse circumstance, resulting in a successful or happy conclusion. Midsummer's Night's Dream, Much Ado About Nothing, Bridget Jones's Diary, Music and Lyrics, Sliding Doors, Four Weddings and a Funeral, and Mr.
Sounds
Bean.
like the romantic comedy of sorts.
Yeah. Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
That's my movie right there.
Tragedy. The protagonist is a hero with one major character flaw or great mistake, which is ultimately their undoing. Their unfortunate ending evokes pity at their folly and the fall of a fundamentally good character. Macbeth.
Blood Slaughter Massacre.
Blood Slaughter Massacre. Romeo and Juliet. Death Note. Breaking Bad. Hamlet, Beowulf.
Death Note. Well, that just gave you the ending of Death Note there. You haven't finished that yet. There you go.
Damn it. Spoilers.
You just started that this morning.
That movie is like on fast forward. I can't. Damn it. Rebirth. During the course of the story, an important event forces the main character to change their ways, often making them a better person. A Christmas Carol, The Secret Garden, Despicable Me, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah. Any time where the villain becomes a hero by the end, basically.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, so those are the 7 types of story. And in Dramatica Pro, it will basically give you the structure of your film, of your script, to match one of these 7 stories. Because if you can come up with a different type of story that doesn't fit into it, well, then you're better than Joseph Campbell and William Shakespeare. You know,
And if you're looking for a production crew, call us.
Right.
I don't know. Seemed like a good thing to say.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's the Movie Magic family. Now, the reason why we stick within the Movie Magic family is because each of these programs work seamlessly together.
Yes.
You can actually take every single program reads each other's formatting. So, if I were to take something from Final Draft, actually, no, I think Final Draft will be read in budgeting and scheduling as well.
Yeah.
It'll work, but
most of the time, whatever takes Final Draft will take Screenwriter.
pretty much.
At this point in time.
At this
when
point,
when
yeah.
they were first created, it was a one or the other, but now they pretty much take both.
Yeah, at this point.
I'd say that Screenwriter and Final Draft are probably industry standard.
Yes, they are. Celtics is coming up.
Slowly becoming, but
the fact that it's free makes a lot of people hum and haw at it.
Well, also on a side note, Celtics is apparently also developing a film production software.
Okay.
Which is going to be similar to the Shot Lister. So it seems like that's how they're kind of overcoming. It's going to be more of a professional paid kind of thing, but it will be an all-in-one shop kind of deal.
That's cool. Okay, so we have that. So we've gone through the Movie Magic pre-production. We like those because they work seamlessly. It happens to be what we have, so we went that. These two are Final Draft is industry standard. Movie Magic is the second. Final and Celtics is becoming third.
Yeah.
Is working its way up to the third.
Yeah, definitely. Movie Magic budget scheduling is sort of becoming a lot of the industry standard. There's not a lot of these programs that you can get for cheap.
No.
And what's really great about these programs, which I go back and listen to the other episodes where I talk about breaking down a script and strip boards, and
you create all this stuff.
I create all that stuff in those programs, and it automatically generates the bunch of different reports that you need for pre-production purposes. There are 2 other things that are coming up that are still pretty new. I haven't used them yet. One of them is called Studio Binder, and the next is Production Next.
Okay.
They seem to be more like project management They seem to be when you have a lot more moving pieces than a 5-person
Yes.
film crew. You can actually like get estimates from rental houses and pull those into your budget. You can add all your contacts. So literally, like your entire crew will have like almost like their own website essentially to go to, where they can get all of your documents, they can download the script, they can see whatever level you allow them to see. It's like a big project management. If you've ever worked in anything in project management, like I work in architectural lighting, and we have a project management software where everything you can view everything live, and it's super complicated.
Okay.
But it's 2 things to keep out. They both seem to have monthly options, monthly subscription. So it seems like you can turn it off, turn it on for as long as you actually need it for your production. Studio Binder was like $30 to $50 a month for the one that would have everything that you would kind of need. There are higher levels that go to like $80 a month. But I don't think any of us are going to reach that anytime soon. Hopefully. We all do.
Well, we don't need to because we already have these programs.
Yeah, we do.
We paid for them a while ago. But.
Yeah.
So one more, I think that's it for pre-production, right?
Yeah.
One more thing within pre-production, which kind of works through all 3 levels, is this new one, Kit Split.
Okay.
Kit Split is Craigslist for your equipment.
Cool.
That's literally what it is. That's how they're describing it. It's Craigslist for your equipment. Say you want to shoot on a C300. Okay, you're talking about the 300. Yeah, C300. It's like you're talking about an $8,000 camera.
Shoo.
But it's incredible. I mean, the C300, they use that on freaking NASA.
Yeah.
NASA uses C300s and C500s. So they're amazing cameras. All right. But hey, I barely have $8,000 for the entire movie, let alone for one camera.
Yeah.
So Kit Split. Now, I know this is in New York. I'm sure it's in LA.
Yeah.
I don't know where else it is. So, maybe it's, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't used it yet either, but I just listened to an interview. This is actually created by the king of independent film, Lloyd Kaufman, his daughter.
Cool.
She created Kit Split. I can't think of her name off the top of my head right now, but she created Kit Split. And let's say you want a C300. You can rent it from a local rental house. And a C300 is probably going to run you about $400 or $500 a day. Okay? So you have a 14-day shoot. You're still paying $8,000 for a movie.
Yeah.
You're still paying $8,000 for this camera. At that rate, you might as well buy it.
Yep.
Okay? Kit Split, I looked it up just for shits and giggles. A C300 was $150 a day from one person.
Wow.
Now, here's what it is. This is basically a supplemental income way if you have equipment.
Right.
Let's say I own a C300. I can list my C300 on Kit Split, and people can rent it directly from me.
That's cool.
Okay, which is what allows me to make a little bit of extra income.
Right.
Because my camera that I'm not using for, let's say, the next month, I'm not shooting anything. This camera is going to sit here and collect dust.
Right.
Okay. An $8,000 camera, though, you need to make some money with this damn thing. You need to pay you need to pay for the camera. So you can rent it out this way. All right. The benefit of this is, number one, it's cheaper than a rental house. Kit Split does cover the insurance as well.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes, you can buy and you can pay for insurance through them. Okay. So if you're borrowing somebody's camera and it breaks, you accidentally break it. It is insured through Kit Split.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yes, so it's limited liability for the user and the renter.
That's nice.
Which
is really nice. I was going to ask how that was going to work.
Yes, which is very nice.
But I didn't want to be like a storm cloud on the horizon.
Yes, they do offer insurance rate through them. Just like every rental house, you can get insurance through the rental house as well. It's usually very expensive, though. So that's what this service is. The other benefit of it is you are renting from other filmmakers locally. So you're meeting people. Yes, exactly. You are meeting the other filmmakers in your area who have this equipment already. Right. So if you want that C300 for your movie and you're going to use it, you can get on there. You can rent it from
a day or two. Then you
might actually exactly. Yes.
So they can actually get work from this as well.
Precisely. Precisely.
Oh, that's great.
Because
That's really
if you're
a
renting
community building.
if you're renting their camera from them, they're obviously not using
Yeah.
it for that day.
Right.
You know, for another 50, maybe $100, you can probably get them and their equipment.
That's awesome.
So it's a wonderful way of building your filmmaking community and your crew,
Right.
and meeting other filmmakers who have access to the equipment that you just can't afford.
Right.
You know, but if you can afford to pay them for it, they get experience on it as well.
Right.
And experience doesn't pay the bills, but. And you know, I hear that a lot. A lot of people, experience doesn't pay the bills. Yeah, but you want to know something? Some people, they're just fine with it. You
Yeah.
know, someone we know, he has a bunch of equipment, and his subscriptions and stuff costs him about $2,000 a year for his maintenance fees and his subscription fees and
Right.
everything. As long as he can cover that $2,000 through the course of the year with his regular gigs,
Yeah.
he is willing to work with people on their prices.
Because we're still artists. I mean,
Yes.
yes, this is a business, and yes, we've said it 1,000 times. This is the film industry, and the industry is longer
but-
for a reason.
yeah.
But we're still artists, and people still want to create, and people still want to help bring something to life.
A lot of these people are working professionals.
Yeah.
So they have jobs that are paying them regularly.
Yeah.
And on weekends, they're not doing much because they work Monday to
A lot
Friday
of times
doing,
they're doing corporate videos
Yep.
or something like that,
which
and
is expensive.
Yes.
A corporate industrial, one day on an industrial can probably pay you as a camera guy alone $1,000 or
Oh, yeah.
way more than that.
I've done corporate videos just as a script supervisor, and I got like 200, 258 for the day.
Yeah.
You know, I was a PA for 150.
Yeah, to literally have a camera pointed at one person talking at it.
Yeah.
There's no script supervision really.
Nothing really was required.
Yeah.
It was doing it from a green screen.
Yeah, so a lot of these professionals who do this sort of thing, if they like your idea, they'd be willing to work for a little bit less. But how do you meet them? This is a way of meeting them. You rent their equipment. If you rent
And
it from them
you-
regularly enough, you get to know these people.
You build a relationship with them.
Exactly. They know that, hey, this guy takes care of my stuff.
Yeah, everything comes back perfectly. Sometimes they even like brush off the lens and clean it up right.
I do believe Kit Split even has a delivery service where if you don't want to,
Pick it up.
yes, if you like, some people are just they feel weird, that informal bit of
Well,
it.
as
you know?
a girl, it's a little weird to go pick up a camera at some dude's house.
There is that too.
Okay.
So they can actually have it delivered to you.
I'm sorry if that sounded horrible, sexist,
true.
but it's true though.
But it's true. Yes, some weird dude who's got $10,000 worth of equipment who never leaves his house.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're meeting. This is the truth. You don't know who you're meeting sometimes.
Yeah.
So yes, you can actually. I'm almost positive they have a form of delivery.
Oh, even
probably
still.
through Uber or something.
Yeah, probably Uber Express that thing.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so that's one thing of doing. Check out Kit Split. I don't know where places are exactly,
It seems
but
like it's just kind of popped up suddenly,
Yeah.
and it seems like they're trying to do a lot of outreach. I've seen a lot of film festivals are partnering with them and stuff like that. So definitely keep an eye on it. Keep
Yeah.
an eye on your local film festivals because they are doing a lot of outreach.
and as I
that
said,
way.
it's run by Lloyd Kaufman's daughter.
Yeah.
If there is anybody who is more about doing as
Well,
much as possible for as little
and
money
also
as
with the
possible.
combination of her mom was the New York State film commissioner for many, many years.
She's retired now.
She's retired now, but she was the New York State film commissioner. So, you know, she also has an insight into the industry
Yes,
as well.
they know how the industry works. They know how this, and they are fully in that. Do as much as you can for as little as possible. You know, stop paying. You don't need $10 million to make a movie. They're fully aware of that, and that's kind of one of the philosophies they all live on. So check it out. Check that out.
Definitely.
So now that we've rambled on that, let's move on to production.
Yeah.
Production tools.
Yeah, one of the first, I just actually downloaded this thing recently. It was called the Filmmaker Toolkit. It's completely free. It's more of an informational app, but pretty much they have all the different kinds of documents you would need. I'm just going to do a real quick walkthrough live while we're doing this. I feel like I should have a video or something. So they have documents. They have everything from call sheets to log sheets, progress sheets, an incident injury report, storyboards, shot list, shooting schedule. Just kind of an
These are
example.
all forms and PDFs.
And they're all PDFs or
doc form.
Excels that you can actually download and edit and see how it all works. So that's really cool. Then they have focus charts for the cinematographer. I don't know what this does, but I'm sure you do.
Yes, it's to help you literally focus and know where you're It's a very clear thing that you print it out, you know where your focus points are going to be. So it's very clear and easy to shift and adjust your focus by the meter.
Okay. Then it has weather reports. It has 3 different services that you can connect to and check weather for the day of that you're shooting.
So your AD will find this invaluable.
Yeah, this is great.
This
for
is your
being an
entire
AD.
AD's job.
Yeah.
Everything that your AD does in an app, so it's all in one place for them to reference.
Yeah, it's actually really great. I'm really impressed. Sun elevation has a time and date with the sun position, so you can figure out where the
There's
sun's
another
gonna
program
be.
called Magic Hour that does that. I don't know if they have that integrated into that, something like that. But Magic Hour literally calculates how long you have left of the magic hour based on the light you want.
That's really cool. Then they also have a knowledge base, which is just a bunch of information. It defines terms, tells you all, describes what certain equipment is, the rule of thirds, 180-degree rule, real quick reference guide if you're on set and somebody's like, "Are you breaking the 180-degree rule?"
Probably has frame listings too. What's a 2-shot, single shot? Probably tell you
shot
charts
sizes.
like that. Shot list.
Shot sizes.
Yep. So it's everything we talked about last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever. That
I feel
explained.
like we're replacing ourselves right now. We better be amusing because people are going to want to check this out instead. Then they actually have a really cool section, Filmmaker Advice, which they talk to like Martin Scorsese, Roger Corman, Stanley Kubrick. Real quick little blurb quote from them. That's inspiring, which is kind of
They didn't
fun.
really talk to these people. Stanley Kubrick's been dead for a long time.
No, it's just little quote paragraph.
Yes.
But still, pretty cool little thing. I'm actually going to share it on our Facebook page. Why not? Because I can actually have a share button.
Wow.
How neat is that? So yeah, really cool little toolkit, handy guide for when you're on set. So I'd mark that pretty valuable.
Okay. How much is that?
Free.
That's a free program.
FREE, free.
Awesome. It's like totally free, not
Totally
like
free.
download
Totally
it and then
free.
pay for a full
No.
version later.
Nope.
Totally free.
No, it doesn't really have any
That's
ads as far as I
Filmmaker
saw.
Toolkit?
Filmmaker Toolkit.
Okay. So check
This
that
is
out.
all Android, just to
Yes,
kind of say.
and-
Unless we make a note of it being Apple, we're Android users.
We're Android users. 99% of these things are on. They're on the Android store. They're on the Android store. They're in the Google Play store. They're in the Apple store.
Yeah, I
These
just
things
downloaded
are
this
all-
from the Google Play store.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking about now. Actually, because of this episode, I'm thinking about we got a tablet. It was one of those, get 2 phones and get a tablet for free or whatever nonsense. So we actually got a tablet and we don't even use it. So I think I'm going to make it studio ready. So maybe I'll do a follow up episode when I get it.
Yeah.
all
With our
hooked
when
up.
we got our Galaxies, we got the tablet for free.
Yeah.
With 2 Galaxy it was actually buy a Galaxy get the tablet free, but we had 2. What do we need 2 tablets
Yeah,
for?
we don't need that.
And it works on 4G. It works on regular. It gets its own plan, which will be $10 a month for its data plan, but it doesn't make phone calls. It's just a tablet, so it's a $10 a month data plan, and we got a free tablet with it.
Right.
Even if you get the tablet yourself, it comes up to be like $10 a month to pay for the tablet, $10 a month for the service. So for $20 a month, you have this tablet
Yeah.
that works with your.
You can make it a
with your-
mobile production
Yep.
studio, which I think I'm going to be doing to ours. Checking out the shot lister and all this other stuff. So I'll do a follow up on that
Okay.
and tell you if I like actually being a digital filmmaker type.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's this other one you told me about, the Filmmaker Pro.
Filmic Pro.
Filmic Pro.
Filmic Pro is a recording app.
Okay.
It is better. It is better on Apple.
Okay.
It is better on your iPhone. Okay, because it was designed for iPhone,
iPhone.
so it's a smaller, shittier version of it for the Android. But anybody who's heard of the movie Tangerine, which was the big Sundance movie of
Yeah.
last year, that it was shot entirely on an iPhone.
It was
They shot it on
the
an
last
iPhone.
Dream story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, it was the Sundance Dreams. Yes, exactly. What they did was that this program uses the camera and it actually adds new options to the camera itself. Makes your camera on the phone totally professional.
Huh.
It records at a much higher bit rate. I think it's like 250 or 300 megs a second. So you can get your full 4K. It allows you to shoot in higher frame rates, lower frame rates. You can do slow motion. You could do under cranking and over cranking with it. gives you much better control over your ISOs and your f-stops. White balance controls. I haven't used it. I only have the free version, but I know, and not the free. Well, yes, I have the free version, the Evaluator. I got Filmic Pro Evaluator on which you can get.
Only open a certain number of times or something like that.
No, well, it's an evaluator. It basically tells you everything that it can do.
Got it.
So you can look at it and decide.
You can take a tour.
Yes, and decide what it is you want. So that's an app in and of itself. Filmic Evaluator, Filmic Pro Evaluator. And it's basically going to turn your cell phone into a pro camera. That's what it's going to do. So when they shot Tangerine, they used this program to get the high bit rate, and I believe that I believe it also turned it into a 10-bit color.
Oh wow!
And 422 10-bit color as well, which is pretty much standard for any. 12-bit 444 is the highest at, I think 12 or maybe the 16-bit. I'm not entirely sure, but even our camera. The G7 is an 8-bit camera.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, that's an 8-bit camera. So this will actually turn it into a 10-bit camera.
So it's actually better than our current camera.
Yes, yes, but it's still a cell phone camera.
Right.
Okay. This also allows you to control your phone via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi from another phone.
Which is cool. We actually got that for the Panasonic.
Yes, the Panasonic can Wi-Fi controls through our cell phone. So the benefit of that, you wonder why we want to control one cell phone with another phone, because in the case of Tangerine, they used this on their iPhone. They mounted their iPhone onto the Steadicam cell phone rig.
Okay,
which
the
is
gimbal.
The gimbal. Yes, their handheld gimbal, which is I don't believe it's mechanical. I think it's just a regular balanced gimbal. And the problem with that is all the controls are on your screen. So while you're shooting something, you have to tap the screen, which is going to mess with
the image.
The image itself.
Yeah.
It's the camera itself is going to move.
You're tapping the camera, literally.
Exactly. Yeah. So every time you touch it, your camera's going to shake and it's going to ruin your shot. So you control it with another camera. So you just have somebody who is a physical camera operator to hold the camera and frame it. And then somebody else will stand behind them, monitoring on their phone and controlling the camera that way, like a focus puller, like a remote focus puller. And then I believe you can send it to multiple cameras. So you can also have a script supervisor running continuity and then another one where your director can look at it and use it as just a monitor.
Yeah,
I believe you can send it to multiple phones.
Which makes me want to amend. I just real quick side note. Stephanie Davis reached out to Bouncy Boxer Media.
Bouncy Box Media, yeah.
She reached out and she was asking me if I thought a script supervisor was a necessary thing to have, and I answered her, unless you can actually give that person a monitor, I wouldn't say it's worthwhile, because you're not going to get the same quality of script supervisor by having somebody watch the people out, like in real life, and not behind a screen.
You need to know what's caught in frame and what isn't.
Yeah. So this sounds like a really great alternative. This
is something that your AD can probably do.
Yeah.
If you're on these limited crew, your AD can do it if you don't have a monitor.
But if you know somebody who's a scripty and this program would work for you, it is an option.
Yes.
So, I would never say don't get a script supervisor if you have the access and you have a little bit of extra budget. I think it's worth it.
But don't hire a script supervisor.
Don't hire it just because.
If you can't give them a monitor, then you're paying them to do a job that they can't do 100% to the best of their ability.
You're already handicapping them.
Exactly. Yeah. So you shouldn't be paying somebody to do a job
that they can't
actually do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I'm sure that there are plenty of script supervisors out there who've worked without monitors and they know what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, then great. Then you can use them. Then go for it. An experienced script soup will figure it out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But we're talking about very low budgets here. We're really talking to that no money stuff. You don't want to pay somebody $200 or $300 a day to do a job and then handicap them on top of it. No. You just don't want to do that.
It's a waste of resources in my mind.
Yes.
But yeah,
you
so
can take that money, put it toward your AD, pay them a little extra, and they'll be willing to put the extra effort in to do the best they can.
Yeah, and this is really great even for directors. I mean, directors that aren't running cameras, this is a great thing for them.
Yes. Which brings me to another thing you can find. I didn't find, because there's a bunch of them out there, Director's Viewfinder.
Yes.
You can find a director's viewfinder app. Now, those people, a lot of people you may not know what a director's viewfinder is. You see all these images for years of a director with this lens hanging around their neck, and they hold that little lens and they hold it up to their.
The idiots that do the L's.
Yeah, that's not an L, but okay.
Whatever. It's an L, and then you turn it sideways.
That's
like an L thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, literally, you shape two L's with your hands, and then you create a box.
An L and a 7,
an L and a 7, and then you look through it, and then you kind of like zoom using your fingers.
You
Please don't ever do that on set.
Don't
Please
even.
Don't.
You're not unless you really, really, really know what the hell you're doing. You just look like an idiot. You're like, oh, look at this. No, you don't know what. Unless you know the lenses that back and forth. You don't know.
You can use the math to apply to your fingers.
Yes, and you know what? A cinematographer can do that.
I'm sure they can.
A real cinematographer can do that. They know exactly how far apart to put their fingers for which they know.
Yeah.
They can do it. But basically, you see the directors with that lens around a string around their neck. That's called a director's viewfinder.
Yeah.
All right. This lens, they hold it up to their eye. You can look through it like a telescope. Mm-hmm. And you pick the position where you want to shoot it from. All right, I want to shoot from this. And then you look through this and you rotate it until you see the shot you want.
Right.
Like you look at it and
so it's a medium shot or a wide shot.
Whatever you want.
Right.
And beyond, yes, whatever you want, this specific shot from that, then you focus this lens to that point. Mm-hmm. Then you take it and you look at the top of it and it will tell you what millimeter lens that shot is.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what a director's viewfinder is doing. So when you see those directors with those little things, like what are they looking at? That's what they're looking at. They're deciding what lens they want to use for this specific shot that they want.
Right.
They just keep rotating until it looks the way they want it to look because, you know, you have with certain shots, you want to get a certain look to each because wide angle shots are going to make a person's face look a little bit crushed, and long distance telephoto shots are going to make their faces look a little wider.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a very subtle change that your audience will not notice. But when you start messing with lenses and you start really doing this, you'll see the difference. When you put them side by side, you'll see the difference.
Yeah.
But your audience isn't going to see it. Your audience is not going to notice it unless you start talking real super wide and you start talking those 12 millimeters and 14 millimeters.
Things pretty badly.
Yes, their faces look different.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want a specific look for the shot, and you don't know what lens it is. What lens is going to get you that? And you know your DP could stand there and switch one lens after another until they get the shot you want, and that's just going to take up time.
Right.
Or you use a director's viewfinder. And you find it, and then they pop on. You just keep spinning and turning until you get the shot you want. Then you look at it, and that's the lens I want. And they use that lens, and we move on.
Very cool.
Now, this is something you would generally do in pre-production, but sometimes you just don't have the time. You got to go to the, Yeah. You can find apps on your phone that will do this.
Yeah.
They may not be as accurate, but you can
give an approximation for your DP to start with.
A director's viewfinder is a good one. Is going to cost you at least $400 or $500. The ones that you see, those long ones that directors have on their necks, you're talking $3,000-$4,000. Right. Some of these things are extremely expensive.
Right.
Okay, you don't really have this. For $15 or so, you can get it on your phone, and you can get close enough.
Yeah,
you can get a really good approximation
you
of
can
it.
get your DP a good starting point.
Yep. So you know what you're gonna do, especially if you're gonna shoot it on a cell phone. Yeah. Now you just you can make a list of where you want these shots, and you just zoom and back and forth right into it.
Which, speaking of, I found a Shot Designer and or Shots by Celtic, the same thing that did the Celtics script. They're both shot lists.
Yes.
They you can actually program into your phone or your tablet or whatever where you want the cameras to shoot from and all the different angles. And it actually will have your script alongside of it. So for each line or whatever,
what scene, shot you want,
you can apply the
That's
angles.
actually how we do our shot list too.
Yep.
Well, I write my shot list on the script. So next to this line, I want a wide shot or a medium or a close up next to the. So you're saying that this does literally
the way
we do
actually
it.
like in the space. Some of them is just a generic blank space, and then you literally just plunk down a little camera logo.
Yeah.
And point it. You know, it has it's like a circle
and then
for the
you'll
camera,
click
has
it,
the
and
point,
it'll tell you
and
the
it'll point where it wants in the room.
Gotcha.
There are more fancy ones that are, you know, anywhere. Most of these apps are like $15 to $20. There are actually ones where you can actually take a picture of your location and put a figure in a different position inside the picture of your location, and then
Decide
set the
where you
camera
want your
where
actors
you want
to
your
be.
actors to stand and where you want the camera.
So like
to
a
be.
3D model,
Like a 3D model.
So you
yeah.
get like a full 360 type view or a panoramic shot in there, and then you can within program just place.
Yeah.
Your
They're
actors.
not animated figures. They're not moving around, but it's like a chess piece. You're just
where in the
putting
room you want
plunking
it,
them
so
down
you can
and-
plan where your lighting should go as well.
Yep.
Beforehand. So as soon as you get in, you just say, "Here,
Yep.
this is what we
you
want."
hand it to your DP, and you're like, "This is
or
where
you develop this with the DP.
Or with the DP,
Yes.
yeah. And then you're like,
That's cool.
Here's what we came up with.
And even if you don't have a DP and you're running it yourself, like we do, I run my own camera.
But it really
But
great.
I've got 4 other people on set. Instead of pointing around the room, I could just give everybody the diagram.
You can literally leave it with them, and
This
they can
is-
literally just like, okay, well, a camera goes here, and then a light goes here, and a person goes there.
Yeah,
And
so
gotcha.
even if you have an inexperienced crew, they can actually help you set up the shots that you want while you're doing something else. If you have just a bunch, because a lot of the time you end up with friends who are helping and they really don't know what they're doing. They're just here to help you.
Yeah.
God bless them.
Yeah.
They're here to help you, and they're physical
it
hands.
makes their life and your life
Exactly.
much easier. Hopefully, less than stress for everyone.
That's excellent. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, really cool. There's a lot of things that I want to check out after this. The other thing is, speaking of lighting, we actually have the Lume Cubes, which I think we've talked about in a previous episode. They have an app that you can control the light from your phone as well.
Yeah, you can. I think you can sync 6 or 8 of them via one app on your Bluetooth phone. So you can turn the lights on, make them brighter, make them dimmer, time them to go on and off at certain times. You know, and you can control your lights that way. Remember, one thing with Lume Cubes, you get very hard light off of them, so you do need a diffuser off of that. That's just a side note on that. But yes, all the Lume Cubes can be controlled via your cell phone.
Right, and definitely check out the Film Hacks where we talk about all the different diffusers that you can use.
Yes.
So then 2 other things that I found which are really cool, which I'm excited about because I'm a big producer loser. There's 2 different. The Apple version is called Cineforms, and the Android version is called Easy Release. Essentially, you have your release forms all on your tablet or your phone. Your actor signs your phone, and you can email a copy to yourself and to them.
Okay.
And it actually stores everything in your phone.
Wow.
And when you pull it up, it'll actually tell you which actors you have a completed release from or not.
Oh, so it's like a checklist.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what you're missing rather than having to go through
And figure
all of your pages like we do. We got 30 pages of release forms and we got to figure out, okay, well, who are we missing?
Who did I miss?
This is already listed. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so you can hand this over to a PA and have them run around and get everybody's signatures.
Yeah.
And it'll actually have all your contact information for all of your actors and crew
if you
in
are
the
missing
phone.
someone-
So you can automatically send them the copy as soon as
Yeah.
they sign it.
And if you are missing someone, it's already on there. You can email them directly from this and send them the unsigned form, let them send it and email it back to you, and it's done.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So really, really cool apps that I'm finding, and I'm really excited about trying some of this new stuff out. But let's move on to post-production, which is all
Is
your
that everything?
wheel. Yeah, that's
Is
everything
that
I
everything?
got.
Shot lister? Yeah, that's every. Yeah, we got it all.
Yeah.
So
I'm
yeah.
efficient. Come on now. You give me a list, and I'm just going to bang through
know.
everything.
So post-production. Some of these become. This is where your movie comes together.
Yeah.
So some of these things can be expensive, but worth it.
It really adds to the quality of your film and what you can do in post.
personally, now
Yeah, little
the
things.
basic is your editing. You need a video editing software.
Yep.
Now, if you're shooting on a cell phone, there is actually a free version of Adobe Premiere Clip, it's called. This is a free video editing on your phone or tablet.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's full version of Adobe Premiere for free so you don't ever have to take if you shot it on a cell phone, you don't have to take, you got to take the phone, take your you got to take all the footage, transfer it to your computer, and then edit it on your computer.
Right.
If you don't want to do that, and you're fine
You're
working
making
on
like
your
a 15-second. This is great.
even there are people who've done it doesn't matter. It's up to you and how you prefer your workflow.
Right.
If you like it to be all done there, then some people don't have computers.
It's true.
Some people don't have a computer. They got a tablet. They got a laptop. That's, they don't have computers. Not everybody has this stuff.
Right.
At this point in this
Yeah,
day and age.
It's true. It's true.
Things are becoming so compact, you don't exactly need computers for it.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting on a laptop, on a cell phone or a tablet, a smartphone, something like that, Adobe Premiere Clip is free.
No, it's interesting. This is actually the full version. Because I have Adobe Photoshop Express on my phone, but it's very limited in the actions that you can.
I
do.
think there might be a fuller version for $10. I'm not sure.
Yeah, mine was free.
Okay. No, I mean of Adobe Premiere.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, my Photoshop Express is a very limited things, but it's enough for like what you want to do in a cell phone picture.
Okay. But with Adobe Premiere Clip, it is full video editing.
Okay.
And on your cell phone,
That's
it's already
awesome.
there. You can edit, render, and from right there, you can upload directly to Film Freeway or Vimeo. From there, your
Shotlister does the same thing.
Yeah, your film will never leave your cell phone. It never have to.
That's
It does
crazy.
not have to come off your cell phone anymore.
That's amazing.
Exactly. So you can do that. So you have Adobe Premiere. I personally edit on Sony Vegas Pro. That runs about $700 is Sony Vegas Pro. There is Sony Vegas Movie Studio, which is a light version of that, which I think is under $100, maybe $150. But also, it's editing software.
Yeah.
iMovie is free with Apple, and that people have edited on that. It's honestly, from what I understand, it's a piece of crap, but it can get the job done.
Yeah.
We used to edit on ULead, which is like a $50 or $60 program.
I think we got that. We literally
We got it for free on something like that.
No. It was when we had that one camera that we borrowed and we shot something, and your computer didn't have the connection that it needed, so we had to buy that one connecting thing.
Yeah.
And it had like all the different.
RCA.
Was it RCA?
Yes, it's an RCA.
It had a bunch of different ports, and then we got that software for free. I remember because we called the ULead or whatever.
Yeah, these things don't even the connection doesn't even exist anymore. But I think ULead still exists. That was our first video editing. Our first like 3 or 4 shorts were edited on ULead, and then I moved on to Sony Vegas, and that's 2007 or so. We moved on to Sony Vegas, and I've been with them. Now, I'm an advocate for Sony Vegas. A lot of people, they don't consider it to be very good. It is a damn good editing program. It really is. The only reason that it's not considered an industry standard program is because it does not support film frames.
What does that mean?
With film, when you transfer, let's say you're using Premiere, when you transfer film digitally, okay, when you Cinna code it, it's going to mark and save your time code from the film edges, the time codes, the frame numbers. It's going to save everything that's encoded into the film itself and all the digital.
Okay, so now we're going to go back a couple years.
Yeah.
Back when I was, in film school and I was studying editing. I remember because I was in Final Cut. All of the frames had the little
time code.
No, it wasn't even time code. It was literally like it looked like a film cell. Like
yes.
That stuff.
Yes.
It had it in between each and every single one.
The sprocket holes.
Sprocket holes. There you go.
Yes. And in the side of that is where the time codes are put into it.
No, Vegas doesn't do that.
Vegas does not support the film. You lose the time code of the film. I don't think it even imports directly from film. It doesn't have a film. A telesyn is what it's called. Okay. Is recording from film to digital. It's a telecinna.
Right.
It doesn't have that option. And Premiere has it, Final Cut has it, Avid has it, Resolve has it, because these are programs that have been industry standard for the last 30 years. Yeah. Vegas was not an industry standard. This was a consumer or prosumer version. So they never worked with film. It never went to film as a workflow. Okay. And when you're transferring from film directly to, you need those time codes intact. If it does transcode telesyn from film, I'm not sure if it does, but if it does, you are losing those time codes and it's going to create its own time code for the video. And that's why that's why Sony Vegas is not considered a professional program. But you have maybe 10% of the directors on Earth right
Yeah,
now
that
that
are
are
working in
still
film.
shooting on film.
Yeah.
If 90% of the industry has gone digital, you can't. The fact that you can't even project your film, you do film
Yeah,
festivals, you're putting in a digital cinema package.
Yeah.
You're not transferring to film and
A
it's
lot of
not
the
happening.
cinemas have even changed
Yes.
to digital. All digital.
90% of the movies out there will never, ever see a film print.
Yeah.
So what is the big fucking deal about whether or not it saves the time code? You're not even using it anymore.
Yeah.
So why does it matter? So
And rent.
for the few people out there who do use Vegas and they get shit from their friends, tell your friends to go to hell.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Vegas. It does. And I took a couple years ago, I took a Final Cut Pro class before Final Cut X came out. Actual Final Cut 7 or 8, I think it was. And I took a class. I sat down on that computer. I rearranged the windows a little bit just so it looked like my Vegas interface, just so the interface looked the same. That's
Right.
all I did. And I had no problem working in this program whatsoever. I knew where everything was. I knew how it all worked. It was piece for piece exactly how Vegas worked.
Wow.
It worked exactly the same way to the point where I took the class, with the exception of the color correcting day, because I don't do color correcting. With the exception of the color correcting day, I learned almost nothing in this class. After years of working in Vegas, I looked at Final Cut and I said, I know exactly what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Louis did the same thing. He's been working in Vegas. He got a Mac. He moved into Final Cut, and he moved into Final Cut X, which is way different. But when he sits in front of regular older version of Final Cut, he knows exactly how to use it, how all the plugins work, because it's the same damn thing as Vegas.
Right.
There's a little bit more options in Final Cut, but it's all there.
Yeah.
Everything in Vegas is all there.
Yeah.
So don't let people knock you if you use Sony Vegas. I know a lot of people who do use it, and a lot of people give him hell over it. Well, why aren't you using this? Well, you should use Premiere. You should use this. Use whatever the hell you want to use.
That's right.
Okay? So I say I'm a Sony Vegas guy. Again, it's about $700. If you have that, I mean, obviously you need an editing program.
No, I think we've talked about this before. Davinci.
Davinci, yes. Davinci Resolve is free. Free.
Free.
Free. Davinci Resolve has been the industry standard color grading program for the last 30 years. 40, maybe. I think Star Wars worked on an early version of Resolve.
Wow.
Yes. They have been the industry standard for period.
Right.
For color correction
It's
and coloring.
like the insider's
Now-
secret to this point.
Yes. Now, digital grading, as you know, has only been around about 10 years, as is right now. But the older incarnations of it with the,
The knobs and
the knob, yes. The physical boards has been made by Davinci Resolve for years, for decades now, okay?
It literally looked like a music studio.
Yes. So they've been doing this for decades. They know what they're doing. They're on top of it. Now, Resolve suddenly, 2 years ago, became a full editing program. Before it was just color.
Right.
Now it's a full, you can actually edit your whole thing in Resolve. And it is free.
Right.
The full version did 4K. You could do 4K editing and 4K exporting, as well as tech support and other things like that, which is a lot of stuff you're probably not going to use anyway, unless you're a professional who's delivering, who needs certain deliverables to your clients or other film. You don't need a lot of the stuff that you're going to pay for. You don't need it. So get Resolve, and it's totally free. All right. It's been $1,000 is the full version. They just dropped the price to $300.
That's nothing.
Yes. So it is half the price of Sony Vegas.
Yeah.
It is half the price of Final Cut.
Yeah.
It is half the price of what Premiere used to be. Okay. Premiere is now, Adobe Creative Suite has gone full cloud based.
Yeah.
So it's and it's all subscription services. Everything is subscription. Now you say do I want to pay for this every single month? I have Adobe Photoshop, and I have it's Photoshop and Lightroom. It's $10 a month. Photoshop alone used to be, I think, $600.
Yeah, about 6 or 7.
Okay. And every time there was a new version of it, you had to buy the upgrade for it. As long as you have this subscription, you never have to buy another upgrade.
Right.
It is $10 a month. I have Lightroom and Photoshop. $10 a month. It'll take me 3 years before I hit the price of Photoshop alone.
Yeah.
All right, it's just not even an option anymore. It's a subscription. Period.
No.
I would pay for this for 3 years before I paid for what Photoshop used to cost.
Yeah.
And I will never have to pay for an upgrade. Whenever they have an upgrade, it just automatically updates, and that's it. So if Premiere was $700 before, I think it's $30 a month right now. I think it is for Premiere.
I believe
so.
so.
Again, you'll have Premiere for 3 years before you actually hit the price that it used to be. So it's definitely worth it. And the best part of that is it's a subscription service. If you're not editing anything, cancel it.
Yeah.
And when you have a new movie that you're going to start working on, bring it back. And you can probably edit your entire movie. If it takes you 6 months to edit your movie, it's going to cost you, if it's $30 a month for 6 months.
$90.
Is it? No, that's 3 months.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 180.
Yeah, $180 to edit your entire movie for 6 months. And that's 6 months of straight editing.
Yeah.
6 months of editing is going to cost you $180 for that.
Which is still less than any of these editing programs.
Exactly. It's still cheaper than any of the rest of them.
Yep.
That's the cost. That's around the cost of the consumer version of Vegas Movie Studio.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's still cheaper than all of them with the exception of Resolve.
Right.
So yes, if you like Premiere, you like and After Effects and all of there are different packages for different levels of what you want. Photoshop and Lightroom is the most basic one. It's $10 a month, and I make all my posters on that. When I first subscribed, I got a job doing two different doing a cover art for a book and 2 T-shirt designs. Okay, and that paid for my entire first year of Photoshop with those 3 jobs. So that's it. My whole first year, my Photoshop is covered until next summer.
Nice.
So it's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
You know. So
I know it hurts. It does hurt, and it hurts your wallet. It hurts your heart a little bit to have to pay these kinds of prices. But
yeah,
it's totally worth it. Really,
yes,
for the value
it's
it adds to
completely
your
worth
movie, it's totally worth it.
it's totally worth it. So let's move on to more of the cheaper things. More cheap. Okay. Now, here's something, and this is what I use this for the podcast every single week. It's called CN Levelator. All right? This is a single-use program. It only does one thing. It's free. It's out there online. I think you can get it on download.com or cnet.com. Or something. Just search for CN Levelator. It does one thing and one thing only. All right? And I use this on the podcast every week. I have used it on every single podcast that we've ever done. I've used this program for the final version that you're hearing right now.
Right.
We record audio into this. Now, I wouldn't recommend using it so much for your movie. Okay?
Yeah.
But there are some instances where you may actually find it useful. Now, there's a difference. There's something when it comes to audio editing, you have loudness and you have volume. They sound like 2 entirely different things. They sound like the same exact thing, but they are 2 different things.
They sound completely the same.
Okay. The volume is the physical volume of everything. The volume. Turn the volume up and it gets louder.
Right.
Everything gets louder.
Yeah.
Your loudness is
Let me guess.
Works
Is it
with-
the peak?
sort of.
Okay.
Sort of. It has to do with your dynamic range.
Yeah.
Okay? The difference between the highest point of your volume and the lowest point of the volume.
Okay.
That's where your loudness controls that. Okay?
So between my mumbling and your rant.
There's yeah, sure. No. Let's say you're recording a song.
Okay.
Okay? You're recording drums. Okay? Your hi-hats, your cymbals make a certain level of loudness. The snare drum is a different loudness. The toms are other, and everything has its own level that it works at. Okay.
So a
if
hi-hat, which is
If what?
nothing.
What?
No, your hi-hat, which is between this and this sort of range, versus your bass, which is this and this sort of range.
Yeah. They all have their own level of loudness.
Right.
And what makes your film dynamic is a proper loudness scale.
Right.
Okay? So that everything is not the same volume. You need dynamic range to be left in your film. Needs to be left there. This is why I say this program, I would not recommend it for film, but you may find an instance where it will work. Okay? What this will do is it will take everything on that audio track and bring it to the same level of loudness.
Oh, I can see how that could go wrong. Okay.
Yes, exactly. On the podcast, it works fine because your voice is a little bit lower than mine. You have a higher pitch, but you have a lower loudness.
Right.
You're not as loud as I am.
Right.
Okay. Now, being as you're recorded on one channel and I'm recorded on another channel.
And the listeners right now are like, that's not true. You sound just the same because of this program.
Exactly. Exactly. It brings your volume up,
Right.
brings the loudness of your voice up to meet mine.
Gotcha.
So that this way, when we talk,
Oh, God, I'm so sorry, listeners.
Yes. So this way, when we speak, and it's the same way because when we had Eric was louder than you, and
Yeah.
Mario is kind of quiet as well. Louis is very low and bassy when he talks. Everybody has different.
Yeah.
So I adjust the levels on our mixer to match pretty close, but still. I have to keep it low because at certain points when you speak louder, you're going to peak.
Yeah.
So I have to ride that level and keep that level at a certain, So I have to keep everybody lower so that when we get louder, we don't peak. What this will do is it brings everything down. It brings everything up to the same volume. All of us are at the same even loudness scale. Okay? On a film, that's a problem because here it's just the two of us sitting in a room. We're sitting here on chairs. We're not moving. We're not getting up. There's nothing happening. We're not touching doors. We're not walking.
Right.
If you use this on your scene, it's going to end up making your character's footsteps as loud as their voice. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem. If there's a creak in a floor, if there's a ceiling fan going, if there's a refrigerator running, it's going to make that refrigerator just as loud as your actors' voices, and it's going to muddle everything up. Now, again, I say that there are times something like ADR, maybe it could be useful. I have used this in the past on films because sometimes I just have to bring an entire character's thing up, Mm-hmm. And I'm not an audio engineer. So I've used it in the past on some of our short films just to bring everything up, and then I tweak from there. It's not recommended, a lot of people, but you know what? It's a very quick, simple, and this is all the program does. You take the WAV file, you drop it, drag and drop it onto the program. There is no tweaking. There are no levels. There's no custom. There's no options whatsoever.
It just does it by itself.
That's it.
And it's like, this is what you get.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. It does nothing more than that.
Right.
So you drop it in and it creates a whole new audio file and you use it.
So pretty much if you were recording a movie and you had an inexperienced sound person who was like into the microphone.
You're going to hear that.
He's going to bring it to the same level as your actors.
It's going to bring that up.
No.
Yes. It's going to make it very, very noisy.
Right.
So, but if you can find a use for it, hey, look, it's a free resource. Even if you're just doing audio recordings.
If you're doing an interview.
It might work.
It might work.
It might work.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, don't rely on it. It's just something that I've used in the past. I've found ways to use it in little.
If you were doing like a behind the scenes or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I just want to throw it out there so you know that it exists.
FYI.
It's the only program out there that does this specifically. It works very well for podcasts. It's very good for it. And everybody says how good our audio quality is.
That's right.
We've got a lot of compliments for even some of our reviews have said very good audio quality on all of our podcasts from the beginning. Because this program has done that. It has made everything clear and crisp.
If only they would say that about our movies.
Yeah, right? So anyway, Audacity is a audio editing program. A lot of people down on it, but it's because it's free.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a free audio editing program. I use it for 2 or 3 plugins, really. I have a problem with with our Zoom recorder where I don't know why, but for some reason Vegas doesn't read it. It doesn't work. Now Louis has the same recorder, and it doesn't happen.
Huh. So our particular.
Yeah. I don't know why. Something about it. Vegas just doesn't like the files that it creates. Louis' Zoom recorder works fine on here. Yeah, really weird. We have the same settings, the same everything, but for some reason,
we should secretly switch.
Yeah, no, he broke his, so he broke the mic on his, so
wah,
no,
wah.
he can keep it. But yeah, we both have the same recorder, and for some reason, actually, no. When I drop the audio files into mine, his don't work either, but it works on his version of Vegas just fine.
Huh.
We have the same version of Vegas. We have the same recorder.
So our Vegas is just great.
There's just something somewhere in there. It goes. So what I'll do is anything recorded on the Zoom, I will open it up in Audacity just to re-encode it as a WAV file.
Right.
Okay. I will use the low pass and high pass filters on them.
What does that mean?
Those are different noise reductions. Okay. These are filters that will remove high pitched.
So it's like highlights and
noises, yes, high ends and low ends.
Okay.
A high pass filter or low pass filter will remove either the high or the low. So if there's a refrigerator running in the background at a very low frequency, but it's way in the back, it's going to do what it can to remove it.
Gotcha.
Okay, and I use that. Sometimes I use its loudness. Sometimes I use its peak limiters. There's a couple of plugins in there that I use. Now it's not as great as like a Sony SoundForge, or.
What is a Sony SoundForge?
It's another audio editing program. It's another audio editing program, SoundForge.
Okay.
And Vegas originally started as a audio editing program, and then they moved into video and created SoundForge.
Okay.
Actually, I think they bought SoundForge. I think SoundForge was a different company, and then Sony bought SoundForge. So what happens is Sony Vegas works seamlessly with SoundForge. But the truth is, almost everything that's in SoundForge is in Vegas somewhere.
Right.
Because they use the same plugins. So if you have SoundForge in Vegas installed, I don't think you actually I have because I don't know how to, I'm just illiterate in that sense, but all of the SoundForge plugins will open in Vegas.
Oh, okay. So you can actually open it through Vegas.
Yes. So for the most part, you don't have to leave Vegas and export it to SoundForge. You can do most of the work in Vegas.
Okay.
Because it was an audio editing program, so it works seamlessly with SoundForge. The same way Final Cut used to work with Color. That was the Apple's Color.
Right. I remember those days.
Yeah.
That was when we all in film school turned all of our skies purple. And
Yes. So that's how that works.
It was so bad.
Anyway, another program is Handbrake. Handbrake is an awesome program.
Okay, then.
It is a compression program. Now, when I render our final film, I render to DNx HD, which is a codec. Okay. It's an Avid codec for I think it's a 10-bit color codec. It's 10-bit color video codec.
And it's a file format?
Yes, it's a file codec.
It's a way that computers talk to each other.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the way the computer reads the file. So it doesn't lose information in it. It's the very high end.
I do not understand any
That's
of this.
fine. It's a very high-end compression. Loss, not really compression. It doesn't compress. I think it does in very little, but whatever. When you're going to deliver your film to your distributor or whatever, they're going to want a ProRes file. ProRes is Apple only. Okay? DNx HD is the Avid version of ProRes, so you can do it on Windows. Okay?
Okay.
So, because what it is a lossless compression. You don't lose any information in it. So everything that we use, so this way, what Handbrake will do is it will compress your file. Now, what's going to happen is, when I rendered out theta states, I had a 90 gig file.
Phew.
Anybody who's using Vimeo knows you have a file size limit.
Yes.
Okay, even when you're paying for Pro, you have a 20 gig limit. 20 gigs a week. I can't put a 90 gig screener of my film on Vimeo. Okay, how long is it going to take me to upload that as well? I put it into Handbrake, and it will compress it down to manageable levels. And my 90 gig file of Theta States is now 2.5 gigs. And I haven't lost any quality.
That's insane.
Yeah. Now, here's how that works. The reason what it's doing is it's only encoding what you need to watch the film.
Okay.
The DNX HD is giving you all the color information that the camera recorded. So I can take Theta States in that full 90 gig file and recolor correct it.
Right.
I can redo all the color grading with that 90 because I haven't lost any color information.
Right.
You know? What this is going to do is it's going to drop any color information that it does not need to create
So
the
essentially
image
it's like
that's there.
surface level information.
It's what you need to watch the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not going
Like
to change
in my mind,
it
the way
from this.
I see things, which could be completely wrong. I don't know why I'm explaining this, but underneath all the ones and zeros, there's like
more
chains.
layers of ones and zeros.
Yeah, there's chains of ones and zeros
Yes,
below all that.
it's gonna cut all those out.
This is pretty much just taking the picture of the surface.
Yep, it's taking what you're looking at
Right.
directly.
Okay.
Now, if I take this compressed version and I give it to David, the color grader, and he starts messing with it, it's going to go, hey, it's going to look like absolute hell. It's going to look like crap.
Because it doesn't have all of the information. It's just,
Exactly,
you're
'cause
literally
it
just changing a
lost-
surface.
Precisely. So this is going to compress it down so that it's a manageable level. Okay. When we do short film festivals, they'll all tell me the same thing, that they want a file under 2 gigs.
Right.
Even our 10-minute short of Beneath
Yeah.
was 8.5 gigs. I had to get it down to under 2 gigs. I'm not going to do that with DNX HD. I'm only going to render to DNX HD too. So this way I have the full version. Now I can take it and compress it all I want because I have the full
Right.
color version of that. Now I stick that into Handbrake and I got it down to, I think 800 megs,
Wow.
you know?
That's
so I got it
crazy.
down almost 90%. Got it down to 10% of what it was, and no loss in compression in video, because it's using certain codecs. It's using the MP4 codec. I think it's H.264. I think it's using an H.264 codec.
Okay.
So it's compressing and making a much smaller file. I do the same thing with when we do our YouTube videos. When we use the YouTube version of the podcast, which there's a YouTube version of the podcast. I've been very lax in uploading the last couple of weeks, but whatever. When I render it out, I get a 3 gig file of just audio and those still images. It's 3
wow.
gigs. Yes. When I put it down into Handbrake, comes down to about 200 or 300 megs.
Huh.
So much faster upload,
Yeah.
and it's much easier to load on your end watching it.
Right.
Rather than you loading up a 2 gig file or in YouTube, recompressing and you know, it's much faster. Vimeo, same thing. It's much faster, because it's only giving what you need to watch the video. So Handbrake is totally free. Another free program. Get out there, download it, go onto YouTube and find there's a couple of you'll find tutorial videos of what to do with the settings in order to get certain things, because you have to be very specific.
And maybe if we're feeling geeky, one day we'll do a film rate and, episode and help you guys out.
But remember,
with
you
this.
can overcompress and ruin it.
Right.
So
we'll do
be
a
careful.
compression episode maybe one
Yes,
day.
be very careful.
When we're feeling geeky.
You can lose your frame rates as well, which is going to make your whole video look choppy and weird. So you got to be careful with the settings. You got to go in there, find the settings that work, and then create yourself a custom setting so you can do everything for that. Wow, there was our marathon.
Oh, there's one more that I really like, and I don't know if it's actually you want to talk about it or not, but that one app that we use that changes you can make it sound like a telephone conversation or an old school radio.
That's speakerphone.
Speakerphone.
Speakerphone is an audio plugin. That's also about $200 or $300.
I had no idea.
Yes, that's a $200 or $300 program. Speakerphone is for audio editing. It is a plug-in program that works with SoundForge, and since it works with SoundForge, I just run it straight on Vegas. And what this will do is it's a specialty program. It's a specialty program. We've used it. We use it a lot in Blood Slaughter. I've actually found a use for it in almost all of our features. In Blood Slaughter, in Brain People, in Theta States. What this will do is it will mimic different types of speakers. So let's say you're doing, for Blood Slaughter, for instance, there was one scene where Jackie was listening to a record player.
Right.
This song was, okay? Sound, again, your sound has to be dynamic. You can't just take the song, show the image, a video of a record playing, and then just drop the sound on there, because it's not going to sound right. It's going to sound too clean and clear.
Yeah.
With speakerphone, I actually had options of different record players, different types of speakers. Okay, so it will. It's called a. It's a resonant filter. It's a resonance filter. All right. What the resonant filter does is it's going to create.
The way it sounds in a certain thing, coming out of a certain thing.
Yeah, like
one of those big tower speakers is going to sound different than your little boombox.
Trying to explain
speaker.
what a resonant filter itself is.
I was trying to explain resonance.
Yeah. It's going to change the frequencies. It's going to change the frequency that's going to work on. It's going to change the reverb of the room, the delay. It's going to change all those sorts of things. So it will mimic all sorts of different things. I had a couple different record players to choose from. Okay, so it will mimic how the needle itself picks up the sound. Then it mimics, the next level is the speaker. You can choose the type of speaker it's coming from. Do you want it to come out of a tiny laptop speaker? Do you want it to sound like it's coming from
a tower speaker?
A tower speaker.
Car speaker.
A car speaker. A stadium speaker. A 12-inch, an 8-inch speaker, a subwoofer. Do you want it to sound like a tweeter? Exactly. A boombox. Do you want it to sound like it's coming from a Casio keyboard? Do you want it to sound like it's coming from a speak and spell?
A speak and spell.
That's actually an option.
Oh my God.
Yes, and it will mimic the sound of a speak and spell.
That's awesome.
It will also mimic the environment. So your reverb. Do you want it to be a small room, a bathroom, a hallway, a stadium, the Grand Canyon? Do you want it to sound like it's coming from a car? Do you want it to sound like it's coming from a bedroom? But not just a bedroom down the hall, a bedroom upstairs in the house from a second floor. Do you want it to sound like it's coming from the basement and you're in the attic?
Yeah.
It's going to mimic how the sound will travel through all these different. Do you want it to sound like it's coming from a car when you're sitting in the car, a car
so
when you're standing
open the door
outside?
Versus close the door.
Yes, exactly. With the car door open, car door closed, car with the windows open, car with the windows closed,
That's
car
crazy.
with the trunk open.
Yeah.
The different ways that sound
channels through something.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to mimic that.
That's really cool.
So I created in the scene. She listens to the record player, so we have a shot of the record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I used one setting for the shot when we're looking at the record player spinning. Then I used a different setting because we moved across the room now and we're looking at her and how she's going to hear the sound. Right. Then she walks out of the room, we go into the hallway. And I changed another setting so it sounds like it's coming from a room down the hallway. Right. Because it's all separate.
Now there's space in between them all.
Exactly. And that's what it's going to do.
It's a really cool little app.
It's an awesome program. Again, it's a little expensive.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of whether or not you have a use for it. Sony Vegas has a resonant filter plugin, so I can actually do a lot of this myself. I can go between that and the reverb plugins. I can do this a lot of it myself. But it doesn't go as far. But to find something as specific as a speak and spell, or a kid's telephone or something like that, a walkie-talkie from the 70s versus a walkie-talkie from 2000.
Yeah. It was really great for Blood Slaughter because we were doing a period.
Yes, there was a lot of different things. We had different walkie-talkies. We had the record player. We had the boombox. We had the Walkman. We had the telephone. We had the alarm clock radio.
Yeah.
From in the room, outside the room. We had a lot of different, the TV set, 2 different TV sets in it that we used. We used it quite a bit. So it did do a lot of work for us. So that's Audio Ease Speakerphone 2 is the new version. I don't think that they even have support for it anymore.
Wow.
But it's still available to buy and download. So Audio Ease Speakerphone 2 is the new. We use Speakerphone. It's been Speakerphone 2 since then. So yeah, look for that if you feel you have a use for it. Otherwise, go into your video editing program and find its audio plugin of a resonant filter or whatever audio editing program you have. Your resonant filter is very similar to the resonant filter and the reverb filter.
It really goes a long way with sound design.
It does. It really does a lot. It really does go really far. So that's the type of thing. Maybe there are other programs that do that out there. I don't know. Speakerphone is just the one we've used.
If you have other programs that you guys use or know of, just let us know, because we're always looking for new programs. Always.
So I think we're done.
Yep.
I think we're good. I think we've gone through a whole lot of. I hope you all got something out of this. This is some places to start looking for programs and apps that are going to help you along your way to make your first, second, 10th movie.
Yeah, and definitely sign up for Cinna Summit.
Yes, check out Cinna Summit next week. Definitely sign up for that. Again, it's free to just watch everything.
Yeah.
It's free. Totally
so now
free.
I have an awesome hashtag for this week's episode. Hashtag free. Yes, free.
Okay. So that's going to do it for us here this week at Filmmaking Sucks. Please subscribe to us on iTunes. Give us a rating and a review, so this way other people can find us and let them know that you think we're awesome. I do want to thank all of the listeners who've been contacting us recently, telling us how much they enjoy the show.
So cool. We've heard from people in the South. We've heard people from LA.
Yeah.
We started to feel pretty good.
Quite a few people have reached out to us in the last 2 or 3 weeks to tell us how much the show is helping them, and we thank you. We thank you a lot. It really means a lot to know that we are helping. Going. Yes, we are helping a lot. Every time we get we start feeling a little like last week. We felt a little like, like sometimes putting the work into the show is a little. It's a little draining on top of all the other things that we're doing at the same time. But I got another email from someone 2 days ago that told me how much they enjoyed the show, and I said, you know what, that's awesome.
I'm so excited. Every time anybody tells me they're working on their first feature or their first short, it really does mean a lot. It really is like, it makes me feel all good, warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. So once I got that email the other day, I said, all right, well, we definitely have to record something else this week. It's another and there's another person out there who's waiting for us to, give them some more advice and help them out a little bit. So we're happy to help you all. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for all your words, your kind everything. Yeah. But please, if you've emailed us, you said, please go on to iTunes or wherever you listen to us. Rate the show and review
especially on iTunes.
Especially iTunes.
Yeah.
Rate and review the show so that other people know that you enjoy this and it helps them find it. Anything else you want to say?
No, I got my hashtag. I'm good.
You got your hashtag free, yes, free?
Free. Right. Yes, free.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Get out there, everybody, and make good films.